Ice holds more than silence and cold. Across glaciers, ice fields, and frozen ground, fragments of earlier worlds remain untouched for centuries. Time slows beneath these layers, allowing forgotten traces to survive long after memory fades. When ice shifts or melts, what appears can feel deeply wrong, unexpected, and difficult to place within history. Some findings challenge science, others disturb imagination. Each revelation carries weight. This collection examines the top 15 strangest discoveries uncovered within ice and long-buried human truths. Let's start this countdown with 15. C-53 Skytrooper Dakota crash. In November 1946, a transport aircraft left Austria carrying more than cargo. The C-53 Skytrooper held Allied officers and their families, people returning home after a war that had already taken enough. Weather complicated the flight early, forcing changes that slowly pulled the aircraft away from familiar routes. Over the Alps, cloud cover erased reference points, and snow blurred distinctions between mountain ranges. Navigation became uncertain without warning. During a descent meant to avoid rising terrain, the plane touched down on the Gully Glacier. Ice and packed snow absorbed the impact, stopping the aircraft before catastrophe followed. The passengers waited in isolation, surrounded by white silence, unsure if help would come. Only one injury proved serious, a small mercy in the circumstances. A flare finally revealed their location days later. Decades passed before scattered remains surfaced again, preserved quietly beneath ice. 14. Antarctic ice holes. Antarctica often appears motionless, its surface fixed and unchanging. In 2017, that illusion fractured when satellite images revealed a massive opening in the sea ice. Dark water stretched across an area that should have remained sealed. Scientists recognized the formation as a polynya, created when warmer, salt-heavy water rose from deep below and weakened the ice above it. What unsettled researchers was its position. This opening formed far from the coast, deep within regions normally defined by stability. No single explanation fully accounted for its sudden appearance. Such openings can shift ocean currents, alter heat flow, and affect ecosystems adapted to long-standing cold. Yet the long-term consequences remain unclear. The hole eventually closed, but questions lingered. The event reminded researchers that Antarctica is not static. Beneath its frozen surface, hidden forces continue moving, reshaping the landscape without regard for expectation or prediction. 13. Glacial gold. Ice has always moved slowly, reshaping land without urgency. During past ice ages, glaciers scraped across mountains, carrying fragments of rock rich with minerals. Some of that material contained gold, locked away beneath frozen mass for thousands of years. As glaciers retreat, meltwater now releases what the ice once held. Streams fed by melting ice occasionally carry fine particles and small nuggets downstream. The process is quiet and gradual, offering no sudden windfall. Scientists suggest continued melting could increase these deposits over time, though the scale remains uncertain. This discovery speaks less to wealth than to patience. Ice preserves not only history but geology, holding remnants of Earth's deeper processes until conditions change. As glaciers withdraw, they reveal more than landscapes altered by warming. They uncover traces shaped long before modern civilization, reminders that ice stores far more than cold and silence. 12. A new dinosaur species. Antarctica's frozen ground rarely suggests ancient life, yet beneath its surface lies evidence of a very different past. In the mid-1980s, a geological expedition uncovered fossilized bones on James Ross Island after years of enduring relentless cold. The remains belonged to a dinosaur previously unknown. Later named Antarctopelta, the animal lived roughly 70 million years ago, when the continent supported forests rather than ice sheets. Its armored structure suggested adaptation to challenging conditions. What makes the discovery especially unusual is its isolation. No other specimen like it has ever been found. The fossil reshaped assumptions about where dinosaurs could survive and how flexible their biology truly was. Beneath ice associated with emptiness, proof emerged of ecosystems long erased. Antarctopelta did not simply expand the fossil record. It quietly complicated our understanding of life's persistence in places once thought impossible. 11. Yucca the mammoth. In Siberia, frozen ground sometimes gives back what it once claimed. In 2010, tusk hunters uncovered the remains of a young woolly mammoth preserved with remarkable clarity. Later named Yucca, she lived nearly 40,000 years ago. Evidence suggests she became trapped in soft terrain before freezing conditions halted decay. Her skin, muscles, and internal structures remained intact, offering scientists an unusual opportunity. Most surprising was the condition of her blood, which contained natural compounds preventing damage from freezing. This adaptation revealed how Ice Age animals survived conditions that would destroy modern tissue. Yucca's preservation feels less like a fossil and more like a paused moment. Displayed today in Moscow, she bridges time without explanation. Ice did not merely bury her. It held her carefully, protecting fragile details until the present finally caught up with the distant past. 10. The Iron Age tunic. In 2011, a section of the Lenbrine Glacier gave way, revealing a tunic resting on cold stone. It had been buried for centuries, but the wool remained whole, woven in a pattern that echoed quiet precision. Tests later placed its origin around 300 AD. The shape showed it was meant to be pulled overhead, tailored for a lean figure just under 6 feet. Its presence deep in the mountains suggested this was once a well-traveled route, used during warmer seasons before ice took hold. Most fabric decays within a generation. This piece survived because the glacier never let go. The cold locked it in place, not just as clothing, but as the mark of someone who passed through and left part of themselves behind. It may have slipped from a pack or been dropped in haste. Whatever the reason, the silence of the ice held on to it long enough for it to be seen again. 9. Grasshopper Glacier, Montana, USA. In Montana's Beartooth Mountains, one glacier carries a darker tone that immediately stands apart. The color comes from what rests inside the ice. Millions of grasshoppers remain frozen beneath the surface, locked in place where they fell long ago. Accounts suggest a sudden cold front overtook a massive migrating swarm, dropping temperatures fast enough to trap them instantly. Snow followed, sealing the insects into the growing glacier. When researchers later examined the remains, they identified them as Rocky Mountain locusts, a species that disappeared completely not long after. The glacier became an unintentional record, preserving physical proof of something no longer alive. As warming continues, the ice grows thinner each year. Portions of the insects reappear briefly before washing away. What remains is quiet evidence of how ice can preserve a moment perfectly, yet still surrender it without warning. 8. Allen Hills Meteorite, Antarctica. Against Antarctica's blank surface, small objects draw attention simply by existing. In 1984, researchers noticed a dark stone resting on the ice in the Allen Hills region. It was later identified as a meteorite, unlike most others found on Earth. Studies suggested it originated on Mars billions of years ago, ejected into space by an ancient impact. After drifting for ages, it landed on Earth and became embedded in Antarctic ice, where the cold preserved its structure. Years later, unusual formations inside the rock sparked debate over whether they hinted at ancient life. That idea was later challenged, but the discussion reshaped how such findings are approached. The meteorite remains important, not for conclusions, but for the questions it continues to raise. Ice held it long enough for careful study, allowing uncertainty to emerge instead of answers, and leaving the story unfinished. 7. Baby mammoth discovery, Yukon, Canada. In Yukon permafrost, frozen ground occasionally reveals what it has guarded for tens of thousands of years. In 2022, mining work exposed a small body emerging from the earth. At first, it seemed unremarkable. Closer inspection revealed features that no modern animal possesses. The remains belonged to a baby woolly mammoth, later named Nunchoga. She lived more than 30,000 years ago and likely died while still close to her mother. Cold arrived quickly enough to prevent decay, preserving her body with unusual completeness. Elders from nearby First Nations communities honored the discovery before any study began. Mining activity stopped, and the site became quiet. Nunchoga is now recognized as one of the most complete baby mammoths ever found. Her presence feels less like a fossil and more like time briefly opening, then closing again. 6. A box of jewels. As glaciers slowly retreat, they sometimes release objects left behind without intention. In 2013, melting ice on Mont Blanc revealed a small metal box emerging from the snow. Inside were gemstones, carefully wrapped and untouched by time. Emeralds, sapphires, and rubies lay exactly as they had decades earlier. A label suggested the box originated far away, later linking it to an aircraft accident from the mid-20th century. No owner could be identified, and no claim was ever made. The ice had carried it quietly, indifferent to its value. Under local law, the discovery was eventually divided, leaving the finder with a significant share. Yet the moment felt strangely subdued. The box was not hidden for protection, only preserved by chance. What surfaced was not simply wealth, but a fragment of an interrupted journey, returned long after its story had faded. 5. Ancient viruses under ice. For thousands of years, frozen ground in Siberia remained undisturbed, holding layers of soil locked in place. Within that soil, life did not disappear. It waited. When researchers examined thawing permafrost, they encountered viruses preserved far beyond what seemed possible. Some remained intact enough to function, even after tens of thousands of years. One strain could still infect simple organisms, despite its immense age. Others were even older, sealed beneath ice long before recorded history began. None were dangerous to humans, yet their survival unsettled scientists. Ice had acted as isolation, not destruction. As temperatures rise, that isolation weakens. Material once separated from the present begins to reappear without warning. What lies deeper remains unknown. The concern is not about what has already surfaced, but what remains frozen. Ice does not erase life. Sometimes it only delays its return, waiting patiently for conditions to change. 4. Ötzi the Iceman. In the early 1990s, melting alpine ice exposed a human body resting between rocks. At first glance, it seemed recent. Time proved otherwise. The man had died more than 5,000 years earlier, preserved by cold in extraordinary detail. His skin, clothing, and belongings remained intact enough to tell fragments of his story. Signs of illness marked his bones. Tools and weapons suggested movement through the mountains rather than settlement. Even his final meal left traces. The manner of his death remains uncertain, shaped by wounds and the position in which he was found. Ice kept him suspended between eras, neither buried nor lost. Borders later placed his remains in Italy, where careful preservation continues. Ötzi feels unsettling not because of how old he is, but because of how close he feels. Frozen ground did not erase him. It carried him forward, quietly, into the present. 3. The HMS Investigator. Arctic ice has a long history of swallowing ships without explanation. During the 19th century, vessels searching for northern passages vanished into frozen waters. Among them was the HMS Investigator, sent during a rescue effort tied to an earlier disappearance. Like others before it, the ship became trapped by ice and was eventually abandoned. For generations, its location remained unknown. Cold and darkness held it in place. In the 21st century, scanning technology finally traced its outline beneath the water. The wreck rested where it had been left, preserved by low temperatures and isolation. Objects recovered from the site did not provide closure. Instead, they added quiet detail, signs of endurance, signs of limitation. Ice did not destroy the ship. It delayed its return. Each recovered fragment extends the story rather than finishing it. The Arctic keeps history suspended, releasing pieces only when conditions allow memory to resurface. 2. Iron Age skis. High in the Norwegian mountains, ice once concealed an object shaped with care. When melting exposed a single wooden ski, it appeared worn but deliberate. Years later, its matching pair surfaced nearby, resting where time had left it. Together, they revealed more than age. Leather straps, shaped foot openings, and bindings made from twisted bark spoke of intention. The skis were crafted roughly 13 centuries ago, yet their design felt thoughtful rather than crude. Researchers believe animal fur once lined the base, improving grip on snow. Movement across frozen ground was not accidental. It was understood. Ice preserved these tools without comment, holding them in place until conditions shifted. The skis do not represent invention. They represent adaptation. Frozen terrain shaped how people lived, traveled, and survived. The ice did not protect the wood alone. It preserved knowledge, returning it long after its makers disappeared into silence. 1. Glacier Girl. During a wartime storm in 1942, aircraft crossing Greenland were forced onto a glacier. Crews survived and were rescued, but the planes remained where they landed. Snow accumulated year after year, pressing them deeper into ice until they vanished. Time passed. Decades later, attention returned to what lay beneath the surface. One aircraft became the focus of a long recovery effort. Engineers worked slowly, cutting through dense ice using heat and water, reaching metal buried far below. The plane emerged damaged yet intact, its structure preserved by constant cold. Restoration took patience. In 2002, the aircraft flew again. The moment felt restrained, almost unreal. Ice had not crushed it. It had carried it forward, compressing time around aluminum and steel. Glacier Girl did not return as a relic. It returned as proof that frozen places do not only bury history. Sometimes they hold it carefully. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, then like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you later.